And I thought that I actually managed to fix OBS. Why is it crashing? I've updated all my drivers and stuff. I've also disabled all kinds of background apps and removed all kinds of rubbish stuff from Windows 10 and still is crashing. So yeah, I guess it's just OBS. This still is buggy. Well, hoping that it will be stable from this moment on. Where was I? So I was with the GPS. Yeah, I could just keep it actually at this. See, can I, yeah, keep it in this screen. But let's just go enter and put it some other random page here, something like this. I don't really care. Okay. Then we do need some frequencies because we need CTAF, and El Codolce is 122.8. 122.8 it is. Okay, what else do we need? Well, we could listen to ADIS because it's so nice to listen to ADIS. Let's pick something here in the Bakersfield area. So let's get Meadows. Yeah, that was a good sound command for what just happened with OBS. Damn it, why is OBS crashing? It should just work. Well, ADIS 118.6. And also, Keith, while you're now in the house, we also got a sound command specifically for you. Exclamation mark Keith actually exists now. Let me see, 118.6. That's ADIS. I'm not going to hit it. ADIS. I guess we're not going to pick that up from here. No. Alrighty, what's the airport elevation then of Acqua Dolce? Beautiful Acqua Dolce. That is 2660. Well, not that much far off. Okay, so that's set. Runway was 22. Just use the heading bug. Again, it's going to be right pattern, I believe. Yep, right pattern. And then we're going to catch that highway here up north. And we're going to expect to see that already very, very quickly, about a minute or so. But let's just use the clock. Tim, use the clock. This is your chance. This is a tour around the Bakersfield area where I need to rely on the clock. It is not working. No, it should work. No. Let me see. Keith, no, it should work.
It's time for the clock.
Let me see, guys. No, Keith is enabled here. Yeah. Don't know why that is not working. And permission set to subscribers only. Well, if it's not working, I should have another look then, because it did work before the stream. Anyways, this is all new, so I need to, I guess, tinker a little bit. Ah, there it was. None of you guys here because I was chatting. I just need to fiddle around a little bit with the volume. Anyways, let's get flying. I cannot wait. So 22, engine is already slightly warmer, set, trim, fuel tank, blah blah blah. Good, clear to go. No one is on the radio. Mini-webs was there but isn't there anymore. Is he already flying perhaps? Someone just took off. Perhaps that's AI. And we got a crosswind from the right. Okie-do. Parker brakes released. Brake test seems to be good. Crosswind correction here to the left. Perhaps that's Mini-webs just taking off. It was the Jaws theme, Keith. Nah. Perhaps I should prolong it a little bit so you have a the real. Oh, what kind of approach is that? Miniwebs, is that you? Interesting, adventurous. Go around was a good decision. Now keep on the taxi line, Tim. Come on, focus. Again, I didn't check my turn indicator, slip indicator, heading indicator. Should be working just fine. Let's also set the. What did he say? Yeah, the clock. That's good. Okay, so again, right downwind. Go up. Let's stay around 3,000 feet AGL-ish. So we can look around. Perhaps we even need to climb a little bit more. We'll have to see. Stick to VFR altitudes. Highway up north, and then keep all of this terrain that we see in front to our left side, and that would bring us to the east, to Quill Lake Airport. And then we're going to catch that Highway 5 up north, and once we again pass through the valley, we're going to go to the right, keep the terrain to the right, and find that valley up to Tehachapi. That was a drone. There's something taxiing behind you. 172. Oh, don't look at the chat while taxiing, Tim. Okay, I do like to have a Mac test because the current rep version is quite sensitive to. Ah, that's perhaps Miniwebs. Let me see. Engine is warm enough. Mixture full in. Yeah, so again, the rep is too sensitive, I believe, to the fouling of spark plugs, which is it's getting a little bit annoying. Everything is stable, no uninitiated messages. Left. No, it's not. That's wonderful. Right. Looks good. Okay, that's the first time in 10 flights or so, I guess, when the spark plugs were not fouled. Back down to idle. Oil pressure still there, no uninitiated messages. Good. Back to 1,000. One last check here with my controls. Looks good. Okay, so AI. I should actually make a 360 here to make sure that it's not. That's what I mean. Whoa! Okay, landing lights on, strobe lights on, mixture's full in, trim is set. And we are on the radio. Okay. Let's wait for the traffic just a tiny bit. Okay. Aqua Delta traffic. Yellow Skyhawk is departing runway 22 for a right downwind departure up to the north. Aqua Delta. There we are. Aligned. Full power. Engine is in the green. Come on, Tim, dance on those pedals. Or not dance on the pedals, just track that center line. It is alive. And there's 60. Rotate a bit. Yeah. There we go. Goes down a bit. Look at this photoreal scenery, guys. This is such a beautiful area. Again, marginal VMC there to the south. Nose down, trim a bit. And there we go. Very nice. Oh, damn it, sniper, you're right. Ah, the clock.
It's time for the clock.
Roger. Clock is set. It's also time to make a crosswind turn there. Aqua Delta traffic. Yellow Skyhawk is making a right crosswind turn here. Departure to the north. Aqua Delta. Miniwebs is flying Nordo because of his home situation now, where it's quite late. Let's keep on turning. Beautiful Aqua Delta. He's now rolling, I can see. Or is that AI? Oh yeah, the Cessna Skyhawk, I believe. Perhaps he's already behind me. Yeah, there he is. Nice. Well, we could report that we're now in downwind, but let's get going. Again, we're now 1 minute on the clock. That would mean, kind of, that we would be able to spot that highway, which is now to the right of us. It should be somewhere around there. Again, it's hard for me to look at the sectional to see how far away then it should be. You can see here, this is the highway that I'd like to catch. Makes it turn to the right. And I do see something of a highway over there. Here. I think that's it. Now, that's always a very nice statement. I think it's that. Because you like to make sure. Well, again, it's going to make a right turn. I don't see any other big highways other than some roads. It's going to make a right turn there. Is there anything else? Well, what we could see, if we look a little bit farther in the distance, you can see it's going to make a turn to the left, right? And there's also a track here. Train track. It's going to join in. Thanks for the follow, Gaga. Thank you. Welcome on board. Now, what I'm not doing that smart is I'm flying over the highway, and I should actually fly a little bit to the right side of it. Aqueduct traffic, yellow Skyhawk is now departing the Aqueduct traffic area to the east at 5,000 and above. Aqueduct. I'd like to keep that highway to the left side because I have a much better view here to look down from the pilot seat. There's the highway. It's going to make a turn. I believe that's it. And then make a turn to the left. Yeah, roger. So highway is identified. Timer is 3 minutes. So it was kind of matching for flights. Now we could again grab the chart to see what the next leg is going to be. I can hit. Well, let me first stabilize here. I can activate the next leg, I believe, by hitting this arrow from, yeah, that's hard with just GPS reference points. Just the next one, I guess. Direct to, may fly this leg. Boom. Yeah. And that's going to be 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, let's reset the timer right now. So, resets. Yep, okay. Landing lights off. Some climb checks. Let me see. Let's just keep mixture full in. We are climbing up.
I don't believe it. He set the clock.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. How's the sound volume of the sound bits, guys? Because in my headphone it's a little bit on the low side, and I can change individual sliders there for the commands. So let me know. All right. Level off here at 6. Get some speed going. I can see a lake. I think that's Palmdale Lake over to the left here. Again, you can see the highway there over the nose. Right side here. We know that Palmdale, I believe, was at 5,000 airspace, I believe. Yeah, so already overflying that. That's good. Bit low, yes, too low. All right, all right, all right, all right. Clock. It's now on 70%. Edit. Let's set it to 90. And let's also set it here to 90. Okay, and this one of Sniper, let's also set it to 90. I think this is better. I also found that with the key his sound bit was a bit low on volume. Should be better now. Okay, so now we're on cruise, kind of like cruise. So let's get that leaning going. EGT nicely high up. EGT go up. Yep, there it goes. And I'd like to be at 6. Just some better altitude management. Okay, everything is still in the green. That's good. Okay, so here's the highway as we planned for. It's going to make that left turn. You can see that lake, which is this lake, Lake Palmdale. We could shortcut this turn, but let's just enjoy this wonderful scenery. Still the cloud shadows there are a little bit, well, how do you say it? Jiggery. But overall, it's perfect flying weather. Let's go down a bit. I'd like to be at 6. And let's make that turn again. Palmdale Airport should also be somewhere around there. There it is. Looks like taxiways to me. Yeah. Okay, so that's identified too. And again, we're now coming up to our next point. That's Lake Palmdale. So there we're going to reset the clock, and then we're going to fly that 21-minute leg, which is quite a long leg. I don't know if that's handy or a reliable leg to fly, because you like to have some additional reference points. So what we're looking for is keeping the mountains to our left, and we also see a lake there and some roads. Should be a little bit on the right side of us. Man, this is nice. Look at this flying weather, guys. Also like to have some music actually on board. Just some ambient, basic, relaxed. I think I can set that up as well. Do you guys mind if I set up some on the background some music? I'll make a left turn here. Here's that lake, as you can see. And this is the mountain stuff that we like to keep to our left. So Echo Delta is there. You can see the power lines are also over there, which are gonna cross all the way over to that direction, I think. Yep, there it goes, you can see. And that is yeah, that's this black line. Keith, can you join me in the instructor room? I'd like to test you on a situation before I leave. Ha! That's nice. Sure, Keith. At least, I believe I can. Instructors. Click. Hey, Keith. No, it doesn't work yet. Keith, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Let me see if I can also increase the volume here. Because you're a little bit low on volume, at least on my side.
Gotcha.
Also lower my engine sounds. This is better. This is better. Go ahead, Keith. Welcome aboard.
That's all right. Thanks, man. I probably won't say too much. I have a limited amount of time before the family wakes up and we get started for the day, but there's one failure that I don't think you've been introduced to yet, and I wanted to see how you would do with it. But it is a potentially fatal one. So I wanted to be with you so that we both go down with the ship. If it
Roger.
happens. No, actually, so that if this would be actually one of those cases where it's appropriate to potentially pause it if you find you've lost control of the airplane, and we want to discuss ways of resolving it. It would be appropriate to pause it instead of just die.
You're making me so curious. This is the best time. I have all the time in the world today, so I'm actually quite curious to see what you're up to. Does it matter where I am in relation to other airports, or can we do it right away?
Good question. No, we can do it anyway.
Okay, guys, let me see. What does the chat likes to see happening? Guys, would you like me to engage in this scenario of Keith here on the spot and we just postpone our planned flights here? Or would you like me just to continue flying and doing this visual navigation stuff? And I guess I can expect a positive. Well, Evanek is saying yes, Miniwebs is saying yes. Okay, Keith, that's already enough for me. I think everyone likes to see what you're up to. Go ahead.
Okay. So you will, once this is resolved, you can actually still continue. There's no reason you have to completely stop the flight.
Roger. Guys.
It can happen at any time.
All right.
Actually, it takes me a second to set it up.
Thanks for the follows, guys. PP, thank you. Okay, let's concentrate here. There it goes. There's a down pitch there. There's a down pitch. Thanks, guys. Is the trim working? Why am I getting a nose down pitch? What can I do to change that? It's gonna exceed. What would be wrong here? My trim is stuck. What can I do with that? How can I disable a trim, guys? Slower on speed. Perhaps turn off my... First, I also need to find a way to ditch the airplane. I would say to a row. Let's go to the left here. But I cannot manage. I need to fully pull. I can use perhaps a little bit of a right turn and use my rudders. So I pitch my... So now my rudders become a little bit of an elevator so I can turn up. What a failure is this? Let me see if I can do that. I still need some airflow, obviously. How can I change this, guys? Flaps, maybe. Yeah. Am I rip?
I gave you the trim back for now.
The trim back for now. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, power in. Come on. All right, stabilized, I guess. What's my trim doing? Yeah, it's working now. Okay, back we are.
Very interesting, because normally when you call for a pitch trim runaway, typically when that happens, we make it run up, not down. That's actually the first time I've ever run that failure, and it looks like it ran it down, which surprised me. Which made it even harder.
Yeah.
There are remedies for the pitch trim up.
Interesting.
Normally to enter a bank, so that you don't end up in a really high nose-up attitude. You can at least
Roger.
roll over to a very steep turn, even past 90 degrees sometimes if necessary, to make the nose fall back down again.
Roger.
Roll closer to wind's level and it'll pitch up, but it's very hard to do it for pitch down. So what makes, think about the pitch trim system. What is required for the pitch trim to function in this airplane?
You mean mechanically, or?
Yes, yeah, because there is a motorized trim system, correct?
A motorized trim? I thought it was just some wires that go all the way up to the tail. It's not electrically powered, right? It's just a...
It should be electrically powered. In your flight in the 172, was there not a trim switch on the left-hand side of the yoke?
No, well, at least not here. At least not virtually here in the Cessna 172. Or is it?
Oh, that's it.
But that's
yeah,
interesting. Well, I can imagine. I have seen Cessna 172 cockpits indeed, where on the yoke there is a trim, an electrical trim thingy.
Yes, I think that there normally are. I think in this plane, this is modeled on a 172S, which does have electric trim, so I don't know why he hasn't put it on the yoke. However, given that it is electrically powered, the trim is electrically powered.
Yeah, then you can turn off the switch off the electrical system associated with the trim.
Yep. So do you want to give that? Should we give that a try next time it runs away? And see if you. You'd normally pull the breaker. If that doesn't work, you then go to the electrical system.
Oh, you can also pull the circuit breakers out. Is that what you said?
In the real airplane, at least if it's related to the autopilot, you would typically just pull the breaker. In X-plane, the breakers aren't functional. Honestly, this happens so quick in a real airplane. Going straight for the master is not a bad idea. And then if you want to later on pull the breaker and then try and switch the electrical system back on.
Fascinating.
But the master switch is your lifesaver in this case. So why don't we try it again and see? Let's see if that's functional to hit the master switch to kill it.
Go ahead. Yeah, there it goes. Now it's going up like it should, I guess. So if I now put off the masters, it's still going, Keith, I think.
Okay, in that case, I'll hit the fix button. So they haven't modeled it properly in the electrical system.
Roger, but it makes sense what you're guiding me through. So in this case, if that happens, then you would try to disable the electrical system associated with the trim. In this case, the master switch will also remedy the problem, but better would be just to pull the circuit breaker associated with the trim, right?
Yes, if there is a circuit breaker for the trim, or certainly if it's related to autopilot function. So if the autopilot is enabled, you cannot disable the autopilot, and it's calling for a lot of trim for some reason, then it becomes a question of how do you disable the autopilot specifically.
Roger.
There's usually three. So there's the AP disconnect switch on the yoke, there's a circuit breaker, and then there's the master switch. There should always be 3 ways to disable the autopilot.
Wow, interesting. Thanks, Keith. But anyway, okay, so the Cessna 172, at least an explained default one, is not then properly built, I guess, to really simulate that scenario, because apparently the electrical system is not wired or connected to the trim, as we see.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Roger.
I'll test it in the stock 172, see what happens. But anyway, you see how panic-inducing it is.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
You no longer have control of the airplane. It's very hard to think logically and come up with new approaches, and that really highlights the point that when the chips are down, you tend to do what you're trained for, as opposed to coming up with great solutions on your own. So that's why it's so important to train for that stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is interesting. Okay. Are there any other scenarios that you might introduce in some later streams that are kind of like this kind? Or, I mean, at one time we run out of these interesting new scenarios, right? But are there any other challenging new thingies?
This is about the only one. I mean, the split flap where you rip off one of the flaps is a good one, but you don't really deal with that in cruise. You only deal with that on approach, and most people work out pretty quickly. As soon as they put the flaps down, the plane starts rolling. What the hell is going on? They retract the flap and they're good to go. This is about the only one that really causes massive amounts of panic that I know of.
Man, I can't imagine. But the first reflex of me trying to bank was the main solution, right? That was the good way of going about it, right? If that happens, and if you're unable to switch off the system, at least, because that's obviously the first thing that you like to do, the electrical system.
If it's pitching up, then rolling is good. For pitching down, honestly, I don't really know what you could have done.
That's true.
What
No, that's true.
doing.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, in theory, you could roll inverted if the plane has enough negative elevator authority to do level flight inverted. You can try that. You can also try flaps. Flaps will give you a little bit extra pitching moment.
Yeah, that's what Evanek was saying as well. Yeah. Interesting. Well, thanks again, Keith, and have a great day.
All right, you're welcome, man. Back to your regular flight.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you.
Wow, that's PilotEdge again for you guys. Just the CEO just dropping by just to teach you something. Wow. That was interesting. Yeah, so again, to summarize, so what happened here is we went down, and that's not actually what or at least what Keith was expecting that would happen. So in terms of bank up, yeah, we could go into a bank. Flaps might have worked in this case, as you guys suggested, and apparently there should be some electrical system associated with the trim. I thought it was just wires, just plain old wires that you can just turn, that you just, well, manipulate by using the trim wheel, but that's interesting to know. Man, that would be so confusing in the real world. Okay. Well, thanks again, Keith. Very educational. Jumps out of the plane. Awesome. And guys, thank you for all the follows. Let me see. So many of you. Eidke, thanks for the bits. Thank you. Very encouraging. Topeman and Killer. Thanks for the follows, guys. Okay, so, well, we can, well, now I need my frequencies. My CTEF frequencies, at least. Switch. Yeah, this, no, well, it doesn't really matter. Okay, CTAF is reset, so I need to have my bearings straight. Let me see. Yeah, and I didn't had time to set my timer here. Did I set my timer from Palmdale Lake? 60 minutes. We were looking for 21 minutes, so I'm not sure. CTAF, what do we need? Well, we need yeah, Tehachepi, I think. So that's 123.0. Switch. Roger. So that's on, and we are transmitting. Yes, we are. At least we are. Column 1 is on. Good. And we should see. What will we see, guys? So again, terrain. If I look outside, you can see flat stuff to the right, hilly stuff, mountain stuff to the left. So that's good. Terrain is also going up. That's good as well. Looking at the map. Next up is Quail Lake. I like to see it, and you can see there's a river just over the nose here. Do see a lake over there, but some rivers here going up. Anything on the right? Any landmarks? You can see there to the right is a big lake. Seems like it. And we're south of that. And we're not flying VFR altitudes. That's also a concern. Let's just stick a little bit to the terrain here. Yeah. Was it a lake? Yeah, it is. That's Rosamond Lake. So that means that we might be, if we're south and we're flying this direction, we might be somewhere around here. That means that to the right we should also be able to see General Fox. Can we see it? There's General Fox. One runway. I think that's correct. This is a better altitude. Yeah, one runway confirmed. So I know where I am. We're following that river, and if we follow that river, we might see on our left side a lake and a Quail Lake airport. And then we're going to pick up that that highway up north. This leg where we're flying, let's change it. Because we already progressed. Yeah, this is the leg that we're flying, and that was indeed 21 minutes. 90 minutes or 20 minutes on the clock. So at any moment now, we should actually overfly Quail Lake. Well, we're not flying that fast, and we've been doing all kinds of stuff here, so we're actually lagging behind a bit. Tim, I've lost vision on you. I'm just going to catch a radial inbound to Corbin. Roger that, Miniwebs. Thank you for joining. Yeah, indeed. If you turn off the master switch, that doesn't disable the engine because it's running on magnetos. That's why it's, again, redundancy there, or just reliability. That was an interesting scenario. My gosh. It's so cool, guys, that we can do this. I mean, a real-world flight is cool as well, as you've seen with Mrs. Uncertified, but just having a very experienced pilot and community leader aboard, just to give you a scenario. Yeah, priceless. Look at that scenery, guys. Wow, 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 wow. Still amazes me a bit how far in time I'm still actually consciously and truthfully enjoying the photoreal. It's now been 6 months or so that I've been flying photoreal and X-plane, and still to me it amazes me and thrills me much more than Orbix region scenery. Or it's really, really pretty. Okay, so again, over the nose I see this lake. Should go a little bit Yeah, in that valley, and there should to the left be a lake. I can see a lake over there. And Quail Lake Airport should be at a airport. Can we already so far? Yeah, I can see Quail Lake. So far, we're doing quite well, guys, in terms of identifying visual marks. Thanks for the follow, Plague. Welcome on board. Happy Sunday. So even though we're flying 7,000 feet, you might say, Tim, you need to fly in VFR altitudes. Well, those altitudes only apply when you're flying 3,000 feet AGL or above. And, well, just based on visual observation here, down, I think we're flying around 3,000 feet AGL, or perhaps even a bit lower, so we're fine. Obviously, we can just look at the sectional to see what the terrain is. Well, let's just do it. Why not? It should be around, well, this stop is 5,000, so I would say 4,000-ish. We're flying 7,000, so 3,000-ish, yeah. So we're fine. Okay, see Quail Lake. Let's fly towards Quail Lake because that's our point. Thanks for the follow, guys. Moofer, thank you. Perhaps I already passed my 2,100 followers mark here on Twitch. It's amazing how fast that suddenly went. Really, really cool. So encouraging, guys, to see you here on stream and just cheering me on and also enjoying what I enjoy as part of my flight simulation practice. Alright, but let's keep preparing for each upcoming leg. So I know where Quail Lake is, so I know where I am. That's important. Next leg is going to be from Quail Lake to that highway. It's going to be quite short. And from Quail Lake, that means that we need to fly 9 nautical miles and a heading of 284. Okay. That's good. We can already activate the next leg. Roger. Again, engine is looking good. Hey Pepper, good to see you. Welcome on board. You can also see here there's a sudden, quite sharp change here in scenery, photoreal scenery. See, there's are different tiles. So perhaps this photo has been taken in another season than this photo. So some tiles you can see this happening, which is a little bit ugly, but not a big deal to me at least. Leah, thanks for the follow. Happy Sunday. Welcome on board the Uncertified Pilot. So what we're doing today is practicing pilotage, flying on visuals. So no radio navigations, but just using the sectional and finding our way to our destination airport. And our next airport is Tehachepi. So we're going to fly in this right circle, right turn to Tehachepi, being very, very aware of our outside view. Explain. Thank you. Still, OBS is still running. That's also good to see. Man, it did crash me on me again, and I thought I had fixed it because I was reading that. Well, Explain is still a little bit busy. Yeah, we're still there. That you need to have fully updated drivers for your graphics card, well, everything. I was just lagging behind just a few tiny increments, so I updated it, and well, the next few streams it seemed to be stable, so I thought, okay, perhaps that's it. But apparently it is not. Disable all kinds of background apps and Windows, redundant Windows 10 stuff, but it still crashed on me, unfortunately. Okay, 26 minutes on the clock, so you can see we've been flying that scenario with Keith for around 5 minutes. Oh, sure, Miniwebs. Again, thank you for joining in, and sweet dreams. Good to see you here, as always. Piper, is that for flight? Yes, it is, sir. It is. And Bernard, thanks for the follow. Happy Sunday. So, Quail Lake. It's kind of like below us. Again, I should keep Quail Lake on all my visual reference points to my left side because I can actually see them much better here from the left seat. There's the lake, and there's Quail Lake Airport. That must be a nice approach here. Okay, so reset. So that's going to be a minute or so, but you can see there is the highway that we're trying to catch. Highway 5. It's going to be a heading of 28 something, 284. Well, that seems to be right. Or correct, I mean.
I don't believe it. He set the clock.
Oh, yes, he did. He did set the clock.
I don't believe it. He set the clock.
Oh, yeah. Making progress here, guys. As a Cat 11 rated pilot, he's setting the clock. My gosh, what an achievement. It's amazing. Hey, dogs. A very good Sunday morning to you as well. Okay, so looking ahead, you can see our next turn is going to be a right turn there all the way down to Tehachepi, and it makes sense so far because this terrain we're going to keep to our right side as soon as we follow that highway there and make a right turn. So far everything is just fine. And again, if any one of you has some good rules of thumb or principles or strategies that are generally applicable for flying on visuals, put them in chat because I love to learn a little bit more about some explicit strategies that you can follow. For example, as I mentioned, not flying from one visual reference point to the next, but using a guideline, for example, a highway that you can follow, or terrain that you can follow, or whatever. Perhaps there are some other strategies as well that can be quite useful in my case to get around, and especially with identifying airports. I had much trouble. What was it? I guess also a few streams before when I was flying to Ramona. My gosh, I was circling around like nothing before, and I just could not find Ramona. Especially with photoreal, it's so nicely tucked in, like in the real world. It's so hard to spot. So yeah, that's something that I need to practice. And I think I'm a little bit too casual usually with integrating visual reference point into my radio-based flight plan. I think, oh, I will spot that mountaintop, or oh, I will spot that, rather than getting some redundant visual points in my flight plan as well. So I think it has to do a little bit with the psychology of flight planning, that I'm too quick or too casual with incorporating visual reference point in my flight plan, and then I fail. And once I fail, I completely mess up and I'm lost. So it's important. Dad, thanks for the follow. Were you not following me before, Dad? Crash Sender, wouldn't it be considered good practice listening to the CTAB of the fields you are flying over? Well, not specifically. If you're really flying far above the traffic pattern altitude, it doesn't really matter that much. You could. Why not? Subscription! Guys, you're so cool! Love you. Plague, thanks! Very encouraging. Again, look at this scenery, guys. I like these tiles actually more than the tiles that we just left behind. Again, there's the highway. Try to keep it a little bit to the left. There's a police car going. Again, that's explained for you. Well, hard to use, hard to do with Trek IR. And there we go. There's the Bakersfield area. Okay, that means that we now hit the highway. 4 minutes it was. What was calculated? 5 minutes. Well, that's not too bad. We're also going faster than 100 knots ground speed, so that makes sense. Reset. So that means that we're kind of like here. So next point. Boom. Should take us around 4 minutes again. Yeah, I guess so. 4 minutes to get from here to outside of this mountain stuff, and then we're going to make a right turn. We could also make the right turn right away, but let's just stick to our plans here. The Cheppy is all the way down. Also, we're still a little bit descending, and if you like to rely on visuals, it's better just to stay a little bit higher so you can see more. Frank, I was. Strange message. Yeah. 3 Black. Hello, Tim. And fine, folks. Well, welcome aboard, 3. Hope you're having a great Sunday. I am, at least. I had Keith on board just 10 minutes ago, engaging me in some very nice emergency scenario where my trim wheel was going nuts. Thanks for the follow, 3. It was just continuously trimming down. It should actually be up, but apparently here in X-Plane it was going down. And I need to troubleshoot. I thought, trim? How can I disable the trim? I don't know. I thought it was actually the trim that was mechanically manipulated through the trimming wheel, but at least in the 172SP that we were flying, there should actually be an electrical trim here on the yoke. And if that's the case, you can disable the electrical system associated with the trim, and so disable that weird thing going nuts, the trim going nuts. But I couldn't, so I banked the airplane so I can use my rudders as elevators, semi-elevators, and it kind of worked. Minutes on the clock. There goes the road in front of me. Look at this scenery, guys. I cannot stop. I cannot help myself. Look at this. X-Plane 11. Thanks for the follow. Code. Welcome on board. 55 people on board in this cozy Cessna Skyhawk. It must be crowded behind me. Seems to be some space left, but need to redo my weight and balance here. Weight and balance calculations. Okay, now the difficult part is going to start in terms of, again, relying on visuals, because we're going to cross over to the next point. Let's change it up. This one, indeed. And we need to fly this particular valley to get to Tehachepi without bashing into the Isabella Moa, which starts at 200 feet AGL. So that this airspace of the airports is excluded, as you can see here, from that airspace. So we need to stay at 1500 feet AGL, so we need to lower, we need to go down as well. But you can see there are lots of hills and stuff that might suggest to us that this is the particular valley that we need to get into, or this one. So how can I help myself in this case? Well, we need to cross a power line. So that's the one that I'm looking for. About 4 minutes on the clock. Corresponds with our flight plan. So again, I never reset the clock that many times in a flight before, guys. Again, those sound commands are helping. Resets. Turn on. Good. Let's make that turn. Let's also go a bit more down. So for example, yeah, this is that mountain. I think it's over there. So that's why the clock helps, or the timer helps, because you know how much time you need to fly before you can actually reach that. Thanks for the cheer, guys. Before I can actually reach that valley. So it could not be this valley because I still have some minutes to go. How many minutes? 11 minutes to go. That's why the clock is such a great aid. Also, it's interesting, but I think if I look at the transponder here, it doesn't work with this transponder. I was looking at Keith, the last flight of Keith, his previous stream, and he was actually using a timer on the transponder, which was kind of nice. But to me, this transponder looks different than the one that he was using in his MU whatever airplane. Let's go down a bit more. So keeping the terrain to the right, so there must be this chunk of terrain that we need to pass first. Well, if I look at this map, that doesn't seem that obvious to me. We're not passing any kind of terrain there. So perhaps I'm mistaken and I should fly into this valley and not that one, because perhaps I would then fly this direction and go in there. So again, I'm looking for the power line. That's the first one, and I cannot see it if I'm this high up. Is there anything else that I can look at? Well, we need to cross over a few rivers. Also, there would be another power line that we fly if we exceed that point. We might see a river there. We should not see a river to the left side of us. 11 minutes on the clock. We're flying 2 minutes. So I would expect that we need to go a little bit further, but again, EGT is nicely high up. USC, I think it is. I mean, we can be a top peak, which is best performance. We can also be more most economical, and it should be a little bit lower, but I think it's okay. I don't know if there's actually a max on the EGT that you should never exceed, like with the airspeed. Let me know if I'm not aware of that. It's interesting. Evanek is referring to altitude of mountaintops. That's also smart. So yeah, I should pass the 7800 mountaintop, right? We're gonna go beyond that top. So that's also a visual reference point. Well, this one is around, well, our current altitude, 6,000. This one too, but this seems to be more higher. So we need to overfly it. Yeah, I think this is it. It's not this one. 3 minutes on the clock. We're flying 100 knots, not entirely, but what do you guys think? Is it this valley or that one? Let's see if I can see that river going to the left here. Is this ground or a lake? It seems like a lake. No lake on the map here. Can we see a river? A Whiskey River. Well, this is rivery-like, but like a... So here you can see it's getting confused, a little bit confusing. I think these are indeed, these mountaintops are higher, oh sorry. These mountaintops are higher than this one, so this must be the 7,800 mountaintop. So we need to cross that one. That makes sense. There's not another mountaintop over here that we need to cross. So that would kind of suggest that we need to fly this direction. At the same time though, that power line was a really good one that I'd like to see first. We're still quite high up. We're regardless of where we need to fly towards, we need to be at 1500 feet or lower to stay out of the Isabella Moa. Alright. So Evanek, you're voting for... Hey Mega, good to see you as well on the stream here. Happy Sunday. I think Evanek is voting for this valley. I'm not sure quite yet. Power lines, power lines. And again, on the clock we're at 5 minutes. We need to go double that time. It doesn't make sense. Also, if I made that turn right about now, I should have just stopped the clock from ticking, because now my clock is a little bit off. Not too much, but I don't see any power lines here. And I also did not see the lake, or the river. So that would suggest that I still need to go a little bit further along. Bucky, good to see you. Hey, Uncertified, what is practicing pilotage? Well, pilotage is navigating based on visuals. So I'm practicing not flying on radio navigation, but just looking at a map and my outside view. And that's quite a challenge. Even as a Cat 11 rated pilot where you're flying radials and stuff, it's also very much fun to really get intimately familiar with your terrain here, like in the old days. Especially when you're flying photo real. I think we just need to stick with the clock and fly a little bit further on. It is, Bucky, it is. And again, a little bit off with this one. This seems like a lake or something. It's definitely lake textures. Quite a big one. But I do not see it on my map. So that's a bit weird. And again, if I've flown too far, I might see this lake. This river. There's also that power line that's going to go here from the east to the west and then go up north. And I didn't see a power line here to the right. But perhaps we're a little bit too high to see it. Explain, come on, you can do it. Ah, I can see a power line. Here it is. Explain, come on, you're not doing anything in the background. I've even disabled Windows 10 updates. Perhaps it's new weather that's been loaded in. So, I see a power line here. So the issue here was I was flying, I guess, a little bit too high. In no scenario at all, there is no scenario, let's trim a little bit up here, where I could get to that mountain valley that I need to go to. One thing at a time. I need to fly this direction, right? And if I cross any power line, I know I'm off. So I'm off. Indeed, it was the valley that we just saw. Here you can see power line going this direction. Almost seems like a grass strip. Double check, double check. This one, power line, goes straight down to south. And if I look at my map, then the only power line is this one that goes south. So that means there must be a turn-off point here where the power line goes back to the east. Okay. There goes the power line. So hard to see. Also, the visibility has worsened yet, so it was a weather change, apparently. Bretson, 6 replies. Did we get it right? What is Bretson pilots? It's actually called that reckoning navigation. Mega. Oh, okay. What is the difference between dead reckoning then and pilotage? Perhaps I'm confusing concepts there. Let me know, guys. What map program are you using? 4Flight. Exactly. Okay, again. We left the power lines behind. And I'm not gonna make any guesses here. I just like to be spot on. Because that's the topic of today's flight. Not really helping me that the visibility is worsening. Flight is saying that at Tehachapi 7 knots, but clear skies, good visibility. Looking down, I obviously see lots of roads. I'm not convinced yet. A bit of left rudder. Not go too much down, because obviously we need to cross some terrain. Power line was over there. It was going down to the south. Here is that mountain. Let me just breeze it, guys. This is fun. Yeah. But yeah, 5,200. That was kind of like our cruising altitude where we were, so that does make sense. Power line is all the way here, but there should be one crossing over here. So we're flying a little bit down. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, Tom. Thanks. Welcome on board. A hard time here finding a power line that I'd like to follow. Ah, there it is. Yeah, so I guess that's also a very obvious principle. If you're relying on a visual reference mark, make sure that you're flying on the right altitude to spot it, and especially in an X-plane because it would not be generated at a higher altitude. Okay, so that is indeed the power line that we should have crossed, so I'm now 100% sure that this is actually the valley that we need to fly into. Okay, good. Let's keep this turn going. It's trimmed. Then we need to follow a road, also a river, that's coming from the direction that we need to go to, as you can see. Okay. Let's see if we can find it. And 122.3 is set in the CTEF, yes. And we also have AWAS, let's also listen to that one. 120.02. Switch. Don't pick it up just yet. So yeah, there's the power line. So this is a direction, makes sense. This is then the valley, but is it that one? Or is it that one? And also we need to climb, obviously, to get over that terrain. Interesting. There should be a river coming down. Again, try to stay to the right side here so I can use my left window to better spot the terrain. It's now getting also a little bit more dangerous. Let's turn on the landing lights. There's moist in the area, as you can see, but our temperatures are still fine, so no icing stuff. Risk. There goes the road up, and I bet it's going to go through that valley, and I don't see any road to... Well, I do see a road over that direction. Also a tiny lake there to the right. Tiny lake to the right. So that would suggest that we need to go that direction. And there's a road going just slightly, sorry guys, to the right side of it, right? Confusing that I'm using right as a synonym for correct here, but that's a small tiny lake, correct? And there should be indeed a road to the right side of it, or the south side of it. There also should be a road to the left side of it, and there should also be a river, or a river coming out of it. Double check. Mega, there was no such thing as a GPS when I started. Well, that's good practice. It's also much more engaging to fly in this way, I think. There goes. Yeah, I'm not quite sure just yet. And again, lakes are unreliable. There's also a lake over here. There should be a road going all the way around it. There goes the road. Well, if I don't like to fly into the hills and get stuck there, especially not with the Cessna Skyhawk. Should be a heading of 65 degrees. Yep. That's kind of like a current heading. But this terrain seems too high up. I would say it should be somewhere over there. That's what my guts is saying. Alright, is there anything else that we can use? I see obviously some vegetation over there, but that's not really depicted on the map. There's a river, yeah. Because it does make a lot of difference if I take the wrong valley here. I believe in one of my first flights to Hachepi that actually happened. I was flying into the wrong valley and eventually got myself stuck because I was continuously climbing, getting up and up and up and up until eventually I could not make, or barely not make, a return turn. And that was dangerous. I think it's over there, but it's intuition. And this flight is not about intuition, it's about making sure. So again, turn this into an exercise, Tim. Still, don't climb too much. Again, that particular lakey thing. There should be an institution. What's that symbol? I don't know. Fuel's still good. Yeah, is that an institution? Don't think it is. It's not a building, at least. There is that lake. It must be that lake. I don't really see a road going all the way around it like I see on the map. Or perhaps it's a little bit further on. Well, it must be that lake. From that lake it was a direction of 65, was it? 65, let's try it. Because if I fly 65, I'm not really flying into a mountain pass. Thanks for the follow, Pap. Thank you. $65 is coming up. It's the only lake that we see. I don't see anything else. There's a reference point. Well, again, what Evanek was doing as well, just using the mountain top here. So this 8,000 top should now be to our right, which makes sense. That might also be that mountain top. So we need to go that direction and not that direction, because then we're flying into that top or mountain top terrain. So let's do this and see what happens. It's my best guess, and apparently I cannot improve on that guess anymore. Frequencies are set. AWAS is apparently not working. From that lake, let's set the clock, Tim. What did he say? Yes. Set it. From that lake, 3 minutes or so. Reset. It's not running. 3 minutes or so. Okay, what would we expect to see then? Well, quite rapidly already, the airports. Let's make an announcement just to make sure. So Tehachapi, and we're coming in from the, look at the bottom of my heading indicator, southwest to enter the left downwind 29. Tehachapi traffic, yellow Skyhawk is 8 miles southwest of the airport, currently at 5,500 inbound for the left downwind runway 29 for a full stop, Tehachapi. Just to have a break. I don't see an airport here, but I do see a lake. And I do see a power line. Oh, that's not good. That was a transponder. Yep. Guys, I don't see any I don't see any power lines over here. I think I do see a lake. Perhaps. And again, guys, this is the great example of pilotage flying. Perhaps now I'm flying towards this direction. And this lake is the thing that I'm seeing now just in front of me there. And the power line that I'm seeing in front of me is actually this power line, and I was just flying around this area. It's so difficult, complex. Here's a road. Exactly, Crash Tender. Evanek. Correct. Yep. So see all kinds of other, and there's an institute. This is also more an urban area. Institution. There should be a road northbound and southbound of that lake. Well, I do see a road over here. And I do see all kinds of roads over here. And this is indeed much more like an institution. Solar panels, it seems. And it's nearby that lake. There should also be a road, I see. Very grayish road there. And it seems that that is something like this, going this way. Okay, that seems better, like a more confirmation. So I was looking at the wrong lake. Guys, a typical example of a misidentification here. How could I have known that I was looking at the wrong... Well, I spotted that there was not a road going outside of that lake, around that lake that we saw before. Obviously, it's at a lower terrain, so perhaps that would be something that, because that's not something that I did include in my referencing, because this terrain should be around, well, you see an indication here in the yellow. Well, it's kind of like the airport, 4,000. So that's 2,000 feet. Yeah, this seems much more like a 2,000 feet AGL. So what we see there up front is already outside of that valley. Interesting. Okay. Misidentification. Also, the clock was off because at already 5 minutes we were already at that valley. We were not really flying that fast when we were flying from Highway 5, so that's also a bit weird. Need to rewatch this video to make sure what was going on, but it's a little bit off. 4 minutes on the clock. We would expect to see 11 minutes. Oh no, that's the old lag. Let's change it up. Yeah, about 5 minutes or so. Or we're now at 5 minutes. We've been circling around here for at least a minute or so. So, going a bit faster than 100 knots ground speed, so that might explain it. A little bit off, guys. A little bit sketchy. Anyways, this is that lake. So now from this lake, a heading of 65 would bring us to the airport, and that means that the airport should be around there. And I see some traffic. No, I see ground traffic. A police car. That's the airport. And that means that there should be another airport to the right of it, right to the south. Oops, it's over this hill. Okay. Let me see. This is runway what? 29. Runway 29. And we're going to enter the left downwind. So runway is then running like this. So left downwind. So we're entering that downwind leg. You can imagine it. That's good. Airport elevation is 4,000 feet, as you can see. So that means that at 5,000 feet MSL we would be, the general rule, kind of like traffic pattern altitude. Happy traffic. Yellow Skyhawk is 5 miles west of the airport, currently at 6,000, descending to traffic pattern altitude to enter the left downwind 29, full stop. Happy. If I pronounced that right, even. Thanks, Avanak. Blake, I think it would be quite difficult to see power lines from 7K altitude. May I be wrong? Maybe. Well, no, I agree. Well, not at 7,000 MSL. It's obviously based on AGL. We were not flying 7,000 feet AGL, so I would have expected we would see those power lines a little bit more easy. But I was looking at the wrong power lines apparently. But it did make sense when I crossed the power lines 30 minutes before earlier. It's weird. I need to rewatch this video. Some mistakes were made. Drug dealer, welcome on board. Mega, you use roads, rivers, railroads, highways, water tanks. Roger. Okay, so let's prepare for landing. Landing lights are still on. Make sure full in. There goes the EGT. Zip. Let's go down. Airport is over here. Looks very cute. No one on the radio. There'll also be an airport to the right there, quite close, as you can see on the map, which is Mountain Valley. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. We could make it touch and go soon. Just to visit the airport is nice. It's Sunday, guys. Flying is so much fun. Time goes faster, much faster than I planned, though. 5,000 feet. MSL, here we go. Heading marker set. Again, we're fully lit up. Make sure full in. Fuel tanks set to both. Rocker brakes are released. Roger. You're an Euro truck driver. Well, I've also been peeking to some streamers like Squirrel and others. Also, John Fly has been doing stuff with Truck Simulator or Eurotruck. There are different kinds. I don't know them by heart. But it looked nice. But a little bit, well, for me, too simple. I really like the intellectual challenge of flying as well. 200 feet too low. There's our downwind. Tehachapi traffic, yellow sky goes now on the left downwind for runway 29, full stop, Tehachapi. A little bit more power there. Again, density altitude is an issue right now. We're at 5,000 feet MSL, so we don't have that much power. Our stall speed might also be a little bit off or increased. A little bit too close to the runway here, so it's going to be a continuous turn from downwind to final. No one is on final, so be careful not to fly into Mountain Valley here, a little bit to the right. It's a nice area though here. It's a nice field, I guess, to do some density altitude practice. Alright, seems good enough for me. Tehachapi traffic, yellow sky is now turning left base, continue to final runway 29 for a full stop, Tehachapi. Keep that airspeed into the wide band so we can set our second notch of flaps. There goes the heading bug, so we're now base, but I think we're already quite close. Yeah, so let's continue, we're a bit too high. Much too high actually, so some right rudder here, forward slipping. Let's get that baby down. And again, watch that speed, because if we exceed that thick white band there, we're gonna rip off our very important flaps off of our wing. Yeah, this is actually go-around material. It's also not really recommended to do this extreme forward slipping with flaps on, or this much flaps on. But it works. Those poppy lights are also not really that nicely placed on a taxiway. Okay, there we are. 65, a little bit more trimmed up. Nine confirmed. Nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up. Nice. Tehachapi, guys, there we are. Well, could have made that turn. Let's get the other turn. Still pulling on my yoke here. Aerodynamic braking. For what it's worth. And there we are. Landing lights off, strobe lights off. Let's lean for ground a bit. Tehachapi traffic, yellow sky is clear of the runway, taxi to parking. Tehachapi. Alright. Well, I should have actually made that turn. Let's do it anyway. Nice hangar. It's really cute here. Thanks, 3. But it was a nice landing as well. Should actually refuel a bit, which is over here. So let's park over here. Does anyone have a Visa? A MasterCard? Let's see. Okay. Transponder off. Avionics off. Cut off. There we are. Need to switch off, batteries off, parking brake set, prevent crossfeed, door open, and pause check IR. Wonderful. And there we are, guys. Tehachapi. 4 o'clock. Okay, so we got an hour left or so just to do some flying. Thanks, Sniper. Thank you for your support during the flight, reminding me of the clock. What are we going to do next? What do we like to do next? So again, this visual pilotage referencing is relevant. Still it is relevant. So what happened? apparently here there's also another lake that I mistook for this lake. And I was looking for a river coming out of that lake, which I didn't see over there. I also did not see two roads going northbound, or one road going northbound and southbound. So I knew something was off, but, well, then you might think, well, perhaps it's just X-plane. But it's for the real scenery. So it should be there, one way or another. One thing, though, that was a bit weird was when we were flying towards the lake, the real lake, I saw power lines here that I don't see on the map. So that was a bit off. Also, in this case here, the terrain was as high as over there, but I noticed going over this crossing line, so when we were flying from that initial lake, the wrong lake, to this one, that we needed to climb. There was a very clear, significant terrain issue that I don't see on the sectional. I need to rewatch that video to make sure that that was actually the case, but it seems like this is all on the same altitude, the same terrain, right? Elevation, I mean. So if I look at the sectional here, it seems like this would just be a similar constant kind of terrain altitude that you can fly to get to Tehachapi, which was not the case. Well, I guess after the lake that was the case, but not here in front of it. So it might be that that initial lake that we saw wasn't even there, but was actually here. And this was the terrain that I was climbing over. Yeah, because you can see here, there's also different green patches here. The more brighter one and the darker one. And that also, I think, indicates a slope of terrain. But that's weird because there was no power line. Well, here's a power line. Did I see that power line? That's also a mistake, by the way, guys, because I reasoned that I would only cross one power line, but I would actually need to cross two. So perhaps I was going south on the power line just 30 minutes ago. I indeed found a power line that was going, well, no, it's not really going that much to the east. But perhaps I was flying over here, doing circles around, because this is also elevated terrain, this darker green patch. And then started my, I think that was the case. Well, again, very interesting scenario, and you can see you can mess things up quite easily when you're where you're going to fly on visuals in this case. Okay, so guys, that was the first leg. I don't have time to make all of this tour. This was a little bit too enthusiastically planned. This is just Sunday flying enthusiasm, I guess. But I do like to fly. I just have an hour or so. So what we can do, I like to do a touch and go at Mountain Valley before I quit the stream. That might be nice. The PilotEdge controllers are not live, so there's no use to go to Mojave. So let's just do one more trick. Let's go then not to Pozo. But let's just, no. Let's go to Bakersfield. Okay. Edit. Delete. Delete. Yes. Yeah, so a touch and go at Mountain Valley. That's going to be a very nice tight turn. So we're going to depart 29, left hand. We got Mountain Valley and 9er right and 27 right are right pattern. So that would favor runway 27 right. So I can fly the left downwind of runway 29 and extend that downwind to be on the right downwind for runway 27 right. Correct? I think that is how it works. Same frequency makes sense, and you can see the same CETA frequency 123.0 also for Tehachapi. That's because this is obviously these airports are so close. Who even thought about making 2 airports in this tiny town? A little bit ridiculous. I guess one is more for sailplanes than the other. Thanks for the follow, guys. Shiro, thank you. Anyways, that's what we're going to do. Same frequency, so it's obvious because they share the same airspace, so it's handy that everyone knows what's going on. That's especially for this frequency, it's very important, therefore, that you include the airport name. So Mountain Valley Traffic, and not Tehachapi, because you know then where someone is doing his base turn or his upwind leg. So that's what we're going to do. 27 right, touch and go. That's going to be nice. Then we're going to depart. And this time, if we're going to go to Bakersfield, I think it's better to follow this highway. Again, this would perhaps be a better... I think I made the same mistake again also with the Cat 5 last year. I would actually been better off to just have flown all the way down to that highway and then go to Tehachapi, because you can follow the highway as a guiding line. This is flying, well, a little bit on guiding lines, but mostly on visual points, which doesn't work. Canadian, thank you for the follow. So I should just spend a little bit more time here, fly around this mountain top over there, and then follow the highway up. That would be a much more reliable route. I was taking a shortcut and eventually circled around and took a lot of time there to get to Tehachapi. Anyways, we are now going to follow that highway all the way down until, well, we're going to see Bakersfield, but I'm not going to bet that I'm going to find Bakersfield. Also, we need to stay out of meadows. So how do we know? Well, there's also a railroad track here. I think it's a railroad track. That black thick line here. Those are merged once we depart Tehachapi, but then here they're gonna join again. How can we do this on visuals? Well, when they join, we can get a heading, right? We could say we're gonna fly 260, kind of like west. Can we mess things up then? Well, we also know that there's going to be a river that's going to cross it, so it's actually quite a visual intersection point that we might spot. Yeah, Bakersfield is at 1300, right pattern 16, but we're going to fly 34, so that's left pattern. So we're going to overfly the field and enter with a teardrop the left for 34. Okay, so we can fly directly towards, and once we're flying, we're going to cross over this river. Yeah, this sounds okay-ish. 260 from this intersection. Is there anything else that we can do? Yes, Tim, you can. What you could also do is fly all the way down west until you hit this highway and you know you're too far. You would also see Arvin, but it's very hard to see those. I mean, this seems like it's a really isolated urban area, but often it is not, and you can confuse yourself. So we're going to go over some power lines there. I think this would be a good way of going about it. Going to this intersection and then flight 260. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Let's refuel the plane. Zip. Okay. Fasten our seatbelts. Engine is already warm, obviously. Just landed here. Door closed. Fuel tanks set to both. Throttle just a tiny bit in. Trim is set. Spark and brakes are set. Good. Fuel Priming we don't really need because the engine is still warm and there's still engine in the pipelines in the engine. So batteries on and we can start up right away. We should slowly put in the mixture in this case. Is there anything else that I need to check before I do? No, I don't think so. Okay, so no one is walking around. Clear prop. There we go. 1200. Oil pressure is already in the green. Good. Green, clean for ground. Yeah, that was stop. Good. Back to 1000. You can see oil temperature is already, well, barely in the green. Alternator on, rising the M meter, that's good. Avionics on mode C, why not? VFR, that's good. Flaps and all that stuff should still be working, he said. I think it does work. AWAS is not working. Hang bug is set to 9, so left downwind. We're going to pick up the right downwind from runway 27 right of Mountain Valley. Same frequency, roger. Airport elevation should be somewhere around 4,000. It is, but not quite. Like that. Okay. The timer is still running, and that's not necessary at all. We can do that once we leave Mountain Valley. Then Sniper asks, well, what's the time that you're looking for then? Well, we are looking for, let's already activate that lag. Navlog. That one. Boom. We are looking for 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Well, that's not really a nav point because we're going to follow it all the way down to that position. So it's going to be 11 minutes. 11 minutes on the clock. Roger. I'm going to set that once we leave the traffic pattern area at Mountain Valley. Okay, good. Good enough for me. Enter. Enter. No map this time for practice, and we can leave it as it is. Okay, anything else? No, I don't think so. Everything is looking okay. Parking brakes released. Brakes still work. No one is taxiing around. Instruments seem to be working still, as expected. Very cute airport. Nice hangars. Nice. Again, no one on frequency. We could announce that we're taxiing to runway 29, but... And there we go. Yeah, let's also see if before I take off I can set up, get a tune going here, just some music. Usually when I fly off stream I have some music in the background, and I thought, well, why am I not doing that while on stream? Because eventually or ultimately it's still my stream and I just like to fly, so like to fly with music, so let's just give that a try to see if that works also for you guys. Sniper, damn, you got there first. Yep. I did. Thanks for the follow, Raviation. Tim, it's nice that you look at the chat, but concentrate. Is this already the beginning of the runway? No, it's not. We're just on another center. Oh, this is also a very cute area. One's coming from the left side here. Displaced threshold to the left, but we can use for takeoff roll. No winds on the windsock. And there's our little run-up area. Let's double check anyways. I think that if you run the wrap a little bit too long in idle, you hear this sound, a little bit stuttery. And also the manual says that that is not good for the engine, and that's true. It very quickly fouls on you, so Engine is in the green, at least the oil temperature is in the green, so let's go to 1800s. Run up. Annunciator messages look good. Oil pressure, everything is still stable. Left mag. Yeah, you can hear it's fouled. And the right one as well. Okay, so let's go to 2000 and lean aggressively until it gets rough. There it is. 20 seconds. To heat up those cylinders and burn off the fouling. Okay, so again, brief, we're going to take off left downwind, catch on the right downwind 27 right, that's fun. Our vision, who's going to be doing Aerosos 80 days around the world? Oh yeah, I've been reading about that. Plague, 8 flights around the world, right? No, 80 days, okay. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick to Southern California. Already far past the 20 seconds, which is actually an issue because you're really heating up the engine here. Back to 1800s, left mag. Sounds good. And the right one as well. Perfect. So idle. Briefly. Looks good. Doesn't quit on us. And back to 1000. Mixture full in. Fuel tanks are set. Good. Landing lights on. Strobe lights on. We are not on the frequency, which was 123.0. 123.0. Okay. Okay. Left downwind. What was the altitude? 4,000 or 5,000 feet. Okay. Tehachapi traffic. Yellow Skyhawk is departing runway 29 for a left downwind departure onto the right downwind of runway 27 right of Mountain Valley. Tehachapi. No one is final. No one is on the runway. Good. Corresponds with our heading indicator. There we go, guys. Full power, a little bit of right rudder. There we go. 40. 50. Again, engine is still nicely in the green. That's good. Rotates. Woohoo! Alright, so 4,700 feet. That's our turn to crosswind. Some terrain in front of us there. This is the highway that we're going to pick up soon. It's going to bring us all the way down to Bakersfield. Here it goes to our left side. Again, I'm noticing that it takes quite some time to get to 500 feet, and again, that's density altitude. I didn't really have that explicit in my mind when I just departed, so didn't turn on any music, but well. So as you can see, it takes a little bit more performance, a little bit more of a struggle for our trusty Skyhawk to get there. Tehachapi traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is now turning left crosswind, runway 29 to catch the right downwind 27 right at Mountain Valley. Tehachapi. Set the clock. Well, we're gonna, but not now.
It's time for the clock.
Oh, the clock. There's our crosswind. As soon as we did our touch and go on Mountain Valley. Alright. It's 5,000. A little bit more of a Tehachapi traffic. Yellow Skyhawk is now turning left downwind 29. We're gonna catch the right downwind 27 right of Mountain Valley. Tehachapi. A little bit overturned there, really pushing on my yoke, so nose down trim. Where is Mountain Valley? There it is, just over the compass. Okay. Mountain Valley traffic. Yellow Skyhawk is entering the right downwind for runway 27 right for a touch and go. Mountain Valley. That's a weird step over. Fun though. Okay, so that means now we're pretending that we're going to enter the 40 degree. So let's set up for such an entry. First notch of flaps. There we go. I guess the same altitude. Well, it's 200 feet higher. Well, that's perfect in our case. Port elevation is 4,200. THP is behind us. See no other traffic here. Okay, let's enter. Mountain Valley traffic. Yellow Skyhawk is now entering the right downwind for runway 27 right for a touch and go. Mountain Valley. A little bit further on. Oh. 27 it is. Already midfield, I think, so we can already start our descent. Oh, nice. Okay, let's have a look. No one on the radio. Exactly, Evanek. Okay. Nicely over the water. Short final there, which is cool. It's a nice area. Really need to get the descent going. Alright. Watch the terrain. Mountain Valley traffic. Yellow Skyhawk is turning right base. Runway 27 right for a touch and go. Mountain Valley. Watch that speed, and also keep that descent going, Tim. There's the base, one notch of flaps, there's the runway. Mountain Valley traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is now turning final runway 27 right, touch and go. Mountain Valley. A bit on the speed, a little bit less, a little bit of a curved runway I can see. There we go. Again, make sure fully lit up. Trim a bit, thumbs up. Terrain ahead, terrain ahead. Yeah, and I believe below 700 feet or 500 feet it automatically switches up because then the GPS knows that we are actually trying to land. Very thin runway. I think we're on the wrong runway because it's 27 left. Can you see, guys? I didn't check for that. Oops. Come on, a little bit left. How curved it is. Flaps up. Alright. Good power there. Come on. And lift off. Well, Mountain Valley. Wrong runway. Damn it. Was not at all thinking about that there was a parallel runway. Stupid mistake. And it's hard to see. Well, actually on the downwind I could have looked down, but and identify the runway, which is important, I guess, which I didn't. Mountain Valley traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is departing runway 27 left. We're gonna climb up to 5,500 feet, overfly Tehachapi all the way down to the southwest to Bakersfield. Mountain Valley. Okay. Thanks for the follows, guys. Death Hunter, thank you. Big, thank you for the follow. I think there's also an appropriate sound command there, like, I think it's !dumb. Or mistake. Did I say that we're gonna go to the southwest? Because that's also incorrect. Yeah, that's the sound. Okay. The Tehachapi traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is overflying the field at 5,500. We're gonna follow the highway down to the west to the Bakersfield area. Tehachapi. handy that we don't need to switch frequencies here. But exactly. Only subscribers have access to the sound commands, guys. Otherwise, I guess I'm flooded with sound commands. 5,500 is fine. I guess it's still a little bit on the low side, but we're overflying Tehachapi here to the right. There's the highway going here to the left. So let's fly a little bit to the right side. So we keep it on the left. Goes down. There we go. Now we need to set the clock. What did he say? Yes. Again, guys, those sound commands are working. They are working. Let's lean a bit. Perhaps we could have also flown our traffic patterns, by the way, with lean mixture, because we're at a high density altitude. Just better performance for the engine.
I don't believe it. He set the clock.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. 6,000 is fine. Landing lights off. All right. Highway to the left side of us. Let's keep it there. He set the clock. Yes, he did. And we are looking for 11 minutes. With 100 knot ground speed. Well, we're not flying exactly 100, so it might take us a little bit more time. EGT is nicely high up. There we go. What a fun flight today, guys. Sunday flying. Oh, is it crashed in there? Interesting. And again, 48 passengers, souls on board, guys. Thank you for being here. Hoping you have a great Sunday. Hoping also you've got some planned flight sim flights in mind. Perhaps some training flights as well. Because this is so cool. What do you think? And again, it's hard. Still thinking about that misidentified lake of a while ago. I think I made the exact same mistake while I was flying on prepared. Or was I flying on explain back then? I don't know. I think I was prepared with Orbix and everything. The region, the vector, the OpenLC. And I also made the same mistake. Nicely on 100 knots. Where is the highway? Well, it's there, still to the left here. No, it's not. That's actually a road. No, it's a train track. The highway is just below here. Alright, 3 minutes on the clock. 8 minutes to go. And what are we looking for? Well, again, we're following that highway. Oh, there's also something else that I'm not aware of. And I'm now making a mistake. Do you know, guys, what mistake I just made? Well, it's not really a mistake, by the way. Not strictly a mistake, but it was not planned for. I'm flying in the Isabella Moa. Because I'm on the right side, the north side of the highway. I already am beyond the Tehachapi excluded airspace. So that's not good. But I believe a MOA, we are allowed to cross a MOA, but it's a military operation area. So yeah, chances are there would be high-speed maneuvers and stuff going there. So it would be very advisable to fly on flight following here. So I'm still legal here, but I was totally unaware of that. Again, sloppiness, and also, again, I'm a little bit in a casual Sunday mood, so I think, oh, let's just practice PilotEdge. So I'm not really focused on making a entire complete flight, but still, it should be it should have been something on my mind. That's true, Avanek. PilotEdge is not online anyway, and I also think if they are online and you would fly into a MOA, no one's gonna care. Is it an operation? That's also a good question. Is it an operation? Have a look. Beautiful mountain. Again, I also love those trails here. It's just a real thing. Again, you can see here difference in tile grading. Okay. Yeah, so we are going to Bakersfield, Lima 45. Thanks for the follow, feeling. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Happy Sunday. Let's prep for our arrival as well. We still have some time to go, but namely, we're only 6 minutes on the clock, and that means that we're about 5 minutes to go until we reach this particular intersection. And then we're going to fly to the west to go to Bakersfield. Well, Bakersfield 1300, so 1400 is traffic pattern altitude. I'd like to be a little bit more up so I can have an overview of the scenery here, so I can better infer where I am. Frequency is 1 to 2.8. That's something that we can do already. 1 to 2.8. We have a listen. That's done. AWAS and stuff. Well, we can listen to Meadows 118.6. 118.6. Switch.
Meadows Field Information Whiskey. 0 Zulu weather. Wind 110 at 5. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 17. Dew point 9. Altimeter 2988. Arriving runway 12 left. Departing runway 12 left. Advise on initial contact. You have whiskey.
Roger, roger. Okay, it's still on. Yeah, still on. Okay, so again, perfect flying weather. That's good. Don't lose track of my highway. There's a road going to my left here. And I think that's this one. Because there's no other road here, and there's also some terrain that we just passed. So that's where we are. Okay, that means that indeed in 3 minutes kind of, we would overfly that intersection that is our reference point. And we're currently 8 minutes on the clock. Well, corresponds. Let's see if we can see it. There goes the highway. Yeah, there's the intersection. You can see the river. You can see that other thingy. What was it? The rail track. This is our point. And then we're going to make that left turn to Bakersfield. Okay, what's the Bakersfield? Also start the descent already. Runway 34. Yeah, let's go for 34. Okay. So again, we've got a left pattern. So that's a little bit weird where we're coming from the east side. So what I'm going to do is overfly the field at least 500 feet above the traffic pattern altitude. Then we're going to make a right teardrop turn. and enter the left downwind, and then 3-4 and that. Okay. Can we already see Bakersfield perhaps from this altitude? So here's the intersection. I'm going to make that left turn to the west, which is, well, west is actually going to go a little bit more that direction. So it should be somewhere around here. There's also a power line. That's also correct. Should be beyond that power line. Ah, PilotEdge. I think that's an... No, it's not. It's just ground traffic. Okay, I thought it was an airplane. Don't see it just yet. Again, here's our point. We're gonna switch the clock again. Whoa! That's wind. Thanks for the description, Taco. Let me use soon, roger that. So Taco is interested in getting some flight lessons here on the Uncertified, and I'm interested in providing some flight lessons also based on the fun I had with Mrs. Uncertified, so I'm kind of exploring ways to do that in a lean and entertaining and nice way. And so Taco is so kind to be willing to join me in that exploration. So that's content that is coming up. But we're all busy with work and that stuff, so... Ah, you're waiting for your new computer. Well, that's even better, Taco. And 2 times in a row even you subscribed. Awesome. Thanks. Okay, we're on our points. Man, it's a little bit scary to see how much I'm in tune with my clock, but I guess because it's a primary navigational aid now, it's much better, rather than also doing radials, so... Alright, still descending. What is the traffic pattern altitude again? I'm forgetting. It's 1,400 feet, so we have a long descent to go. A big descent to go. This should be kind of our direction. Is that correct? It's just a tiny notch. Well, yeah. Relative to the highway. 260. Yeah, that's okay. Good. Landing lights on so that we're visible. We're already in the CTAF. Overfly the fields and enter the left downwind for runway 34. Bakersfield traffic, yellow Skyhawk, is 10 miles east of the airport, currently at 4,000 and descending. We're going to overfly the field from the east and enter the left downwind for runway 34 for a full stop. Bakersfield. Okay, steady descent. Going a bit faster, so our clock will be a little bit off. Also, what are we looking for? We're looking for 5 minutes on the clock here. USC, so soon you'll be uncertified instructor. Exactly. UFI. Taco, no, I should be thanking you. No, sir, I should be thanking you. It's just a big project. I'm so happy that you guys are around and supporting the channel, and also like to be a part of it. It's great. I mean, it's not just that I'm sharing my passion with you just for entertainment's sake, but you are actually feeding me as well with your passion and interest in flying. It really does. If I long to fly, at least here on stream, it's not just that I'm looking forward just to fly, but also to chat with you guys and see how you're doing and just have a shared experience of flying. It's really great. Let's also focus, because I also enjoy just doing things right. There are, again, this is that same highway. It splits up in 2. At least that's what it seems like, and I don't like to fly in Meadows Field. So 5 minutes on the clock. We still have some way to go. Am I on course? Kind of. There's a big city. Well, if I look at the map, we should actually not overfly the city. But again, there could also be urban stuff here, but this is actually the main city, so it can be confusing as well. But I don't expect to see airport all the way here. I would expect it to see it somewhere over here where it's not that urban-y. So, don't get too comfortable, Tim. Thanks for the follow, Soy. Thank you. Happy Sunday. Don't get too comfortable. Also, don't get too low. Again, I'm flying over a highway. Is it still that same highway? Otherwise, it should be a little bit to the left here, Bakersfield. I don't trust myself. I just don't trust myself. There's the highway. I'd like to regain my focus here. So, just because I'm chatting and I'm doing other things, I lose track of what I'm doing. Again, that's where we're coming from in the distance. Yes, there's the highway. This is where we were coming from. This is how we entered Tehachapi. Is this also where the... Yeah, this is also where they joined in. And so from that point on, I needed to fly 60 to 265. So I was a little bit too close to the highway, perhaps. Okay. Okay. What a nice area. Good on the altitude. Again, 1300 is traffic pattern. So I'm now 1,000 feet above traffic pattern altitude, which is fine. Again, here's the highway again. It should be somewhere here. Yeah, so I was kind of right. Okay, just to make sure. Just to make sure. Nose up. My clock is now a bit off, so I should expect 6 minutes or so to overfly the field at least. Ah, there it is. There it is. Runway. Awesome. Okay. Airport insights. Wonderful. And corresponds with our navigation here. Let's do another call. Bakersfield traffic, Yellow Skyhawk, is 4 miles east of the airport. We're going to overfly the field from the east to the west and enter the left downwind for runway 34 for a full stop Bakersfield. It's always good to do a few announcements while you are arriving or nearing the airport, because a pilot could just jump into the cockpit and now turn on the frequency. So it's just good to give everyone, potentially everyone, flying around the field some situational awareness. Alright, 1800 feet would then be our minimum altitude here to overfly the field. So we're 500 feet above the traffic pattern, so we know we don't fly into anyone. Landing lights are on, everything is on. Well, now in terms of density altitude, we can set full mixture. I think I should not have done that at Tehachapi, Mountain Valley. There's 1800s. Nose up, bleed off that airspeed. Trim up a bit. Here's the field. Did you check weight and balance, Tim? Not really. I just put in fuel. Ah, there's the runway. Bakersfield traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is now overflying the field to the west. We're going to enter the left downwind runway 34, full stop, Bakersfield. Now, rather than just making a left turn now and get on downwind, it's better just to outfly the traffic pattern. Let's go a little bit up. One notch of flaps here. One notch of flaps here, I said. Yeah, thanks. Because if we now fly to the left, there might be someone on the right that's also on downwind, Nordo traffic, with not transmitting on the CTAF perhaps, and it would fly on our tail. So it's better just to go to the other side of the traffic pattern and turn around and then enter. That's what we now did, so I'm now going to descend. Oh, that's why I have an X, sorry. Yep. Yeah, that's a nice weight and balance calculation for 45 souls on board for a Cessna Skyhawk. Again, hoping that there is some space here. Otherwise, feel free to come to the right seats. So now we're descending to traffic pattern altitude, which was 1300 feet. It's going to continue my flight just a little bit more, and now we're going to make that right turn. And now what I like to do, just making a standard rate turn or just a standard rate turn, is to get to a 40-degree entry for the left downwind now, which should work automatically almost. Watch that speed, I'd like to be 90. 1300, there we go. Heading box, so now we're flying base. And there we go, here's the airfield. And now the 40 degree, and as you can see, it's like if we were approaching Bakersfield from the west. Bakersfield traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is now on the 40 degree left downwind for runway 34 for a full stop Bakersfield. Alright, speed is okay, trimmed, nicely on traffic pattern altitude. It's a nice procedure, a teardrop procedure. So now we'll make a look to the left here, make sure there's no one on downwind. We're not hearing anyone on the frequency, but again, there could be no other traffic, could also be AI here on the PilotEdge. So the traffic pattern seems clear. And again, I'm hoping that Greg GPB 500 will make Bakersfield awesome as well. Although I must say, it's not too bad at the moment. Let's have a look when we're down. Bakersfield traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is now on the left downwind runway 34 full stop Bakersfield. Alright, we're already past midfield, so we can continue our descent. Fly a little bit more to the west here to stay clear of the runway. So we can give ourselves a little bit of a base turn, base lag. There we go. A bit overweight, I'd say. Yeah, a bit overweight. Alright, that's good. Align ourselves with downwind. Keep that descent going. Be a little bit more aggressive. Usually I'm much too high on my final turn, so we could extend our downwind, or we could just descend a little bit more aggressively. Bakersfield traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is now turning left base, runway 34, full stop Bakersfield. My stern, we're still in the white band in terms of airspeed, so that means that we can set our 20 degrees of flaps right about now. Make sure that we're not going to slow down too much. It's the runway. Again, too high, as I already mentioned. Bakersfield traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is now on final runway 34, full stop Bakersfield. Too fast as well. Again, we could use some forward slipping. Right rudder, a little bit of left aileron. So we just put our butts in the wind, and that slows us down. We drop like a stone. But again, you need to be very careful not to go too slow, because obviously you increase your stall speed by doing this technique. Oh, Bakersfield's not looking that bad. I thought it was a little bit off, I remember, but... Okay, last landing of today. Oh, that was a little bit of a drop that I didn't expect. Okay, that's a bummer. But we are still alive. Flips up. Let's roll on out. There's the ramp to the left. Okay. Oh, this is why, I guess. Doesn't seem like a taxiway to me, but I guess it is. Bakersfield traffic, Yellow Skyhawk is clear of runway 34, taxi to parking. Bakersfield. Clean up. 1000. Mixture bit in. Good. And everything seems to be just fine. Let's go one taxiway further on. Also very pleased that OBS did not crash. second part of our flight. Damn it, I don't know what's going on with OBS. Thought I fixed it, but apparently I did not. It's hangars here. Alright, where are we going to park? Oh, this is a nice spot here. Let's see if we can do that. Differential braking. Watch my left wing here. Also my tail now. Alright, a little bit more gas, Tim. Good. Good. And that's okay. Windsongaviation.com. Alright, does that domain actually exist? Windsong. Transponder. Off. Avionics. Off. Quits. Then the magneto's off, so everything is burned in the cylinders. Batteries off. Parking brake sets. Prevent cross-feeding. Could reset the trim, could done that also as the after landing check. And door is opened. Checker yar paused, and there we are at Bakersfield. That was a really fun flight. Thank you, Snipe. That was really fun, but I did make some mistakes. Just to wrap it up, what did I do? Well, first off, that mountain, I'm gonna rewatch the stream here. So apparently, I think I was flying in this area while I thought I was actually in that area. Because there was also a lake here, which is not depicted on the sectional. So that was confusing. Again, GPS is quite handy. Also time-wise with the clock, it didn't make sense because it was 7 minutes on the clock or so once we were here. While we actually planned to go 11 minutes. So I initially thought we need to go to that direction, but also, what else did we do? At Tehachepi and Mountain Valley. Oh yeah, Mountain Valley, the 27 left runway. So I was not aware at all once I entered the traffic pattern that there were two parallel runways, even though I said 27 right. And I just saw one runway, but I picked the wrong one. So let's see if I could actually. One seemed to be a grass runway or so. Details. Runway. Asphalt. No, just seemed to be two asphalt runways. So that was bad, and I could have prevented that by, and it's also part of, I think, of the downwind checks, is to, if you can at least, identify the runway markings once you order beam the numbers. And I didn't, or at least when if you turn to final. It's hard to do that, I guess. So that was a big mistake, landing on the wrong runway. That was not good. Stefan, good to see you as well. I would not side slip with flaps, by the way. Exactly. Good job. Nice scenery as well. No, I know, Stefan. I know. So again, increasing that risk of stalling. But to do another go around was a little bit of a hassle. So that's why. But I'm aware. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, then I followed on that highway here, and I was not aware of the Isabella MOA, which was not a big concern because we are, as VFR-Pi is totally legal to fly through a MOA. It's not that safe because there's military operation activity going on there, most likely in that particular MOA. So that was a little bit too of a too quick departure from the Tehachepi area here. So I was flying at the right side here, and I should actually be a little bit more to the left side. And also be on flight following if the PilotEdge was live. It's gonna go live in just 5 minutes or so. Followed the highway, identified the intersection. That was good. Made that turn, which was good as well. But I saw a lot of urban stuff already in this area, even though the sectional only depicts the center of Bakersfield, I guess. And that turned me a little bit off of my guards, like, oh my gosh, am I already flying on this side already? But again, I should have used my timer to know for sure. And my timer did indicate that we still had some way to go. So I just wanted to be sure, so I made that left turn 360 to again make sure that I was on the right path, and I was. And then I spotted Bakersfield, which was good. And again, it's so nicely tucked in that scenery. It's so hard to see. So that was really, really fun. My entry was fine as well. A little bit too high again. Needed it forward slipping, which I should not rely on that much. And I think I need to resolve that issue by already starting my descent, just a regular descent, as soon as I hit midpoint downwind. And not only with a 100 feet per minute descent, but just a 500 minute descent. Perhaps I should also memorize a particular altitude to hit before on the point when I turn from downwind to base, because I'm making that mistake a little bit too often. Where did you download your scenery? It's the G2 XPL tool that I've used. I don't know if it even exists anymore. I think Ortho 4XP is even much better. If you just look at the explain.org website or just Google, you'll find the tool to do that yourself as well. Okay, and that's about it. But again, I really love the flight. Again, at the first phase of the flight, for those who are new guys here, for those of you who are new, at the beginning here of the stream, Keith was aboard as well, and he really engaged me in a really nice emergency scenario. So if you haven't seen that part, be sure to watch the VOD after the stream is over, so you can see me try. It's I think it's about 45 minutes after I started the stream, something like that. It's around this lag here, which was really, really fun. Nice. Really pleased with the day's flight. Really enjoyed myself, and I hope you did too, guys. So what I'm going to do, as always, just have a small quick look at my landing. Something was a drop there before final. I don't know what was going on there. I thought it wasn't me, but hey, it's always the pilot who is in charge. Let's have a look. PilotEdge disconnected. So we're not all over the place for others who are flying. Recorder. Door closed. So here we made that turn to base, I guess. Yes, seems like it. Okay. Shift 4. And there we are. You can see all of that flying over there. Interesting. And there's Bakersfield. So you can see we're coming in, descending to an altitude just above traffic pattern altitude. We're over flight traffic. Perhaps I could make that right turn a little bit sooner, but well, it's okay. Make that right turn, enter 40 degree, and then you continue your legs here. So what I should have done, or what I should do in the future, I was already past midpoint over here. You can see I'm still on traffic pattern altitude, and I should have already started my descent. So I have some overhead here that I need to get rid of as soon as I'm on final. And, well, I managed, but forward slipping with flaps, again, as Stefan was also mentioning, is not that safe. Shift 4. There we go. How about that thing away? It's such a nice livery. My gosh. Yeah, boom. So, well, main wheels hit first, but there was not a round off there, which is not pretty at all. Were we crabbed into the wind? Yes, we were. Was not aware of that at all. And I think I also did not correct for that at all. And that's bad for the wheel. So I should now put in left rudder, a little bit of right aileron. No, how could I not see? Look at that nose. And obviously now I'm getting some traction on the runway, and so my airplane is going to drive off the runway. Yeah, you can already see. It's to the right, to the right, to the right. Speed is okay. Nose up. There's a little bit of a hill. Oh, what was going on there? No, that was my drop. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit too academic here. I'd like to know what's going on. Here I am. Here we go. So I'm very clearly crabbed, and I'm not correcting for it. Well, should transition from a crab position to a forward slip. Now in here, I let go of the yoke, I believe. Here we go, here we go. Pull, pull, pull. And here I let go. That's the mistake. And there we go. And we're already slow on speed. And now I'm too late to recover. Yeah. And now I'm crabbed. So now my nose wheel hits and also my main wheels hit. So now I'm going to drive off to the right. As you can see, centerline is moving away from me. Alright. That's a 6 out of 10, I think. Alright. So I need to be more aware next time of my crab position. And well, this thing was new actually. But I dropped my nose a little bit too quick there. The art of touching down is so cool. Alright. There we are. Check our yar. Let's get a nice ending shot here with all of these Cessnas. That might be very, very nice. Ooh. Because even flight simming is all about community, isn't it? Taco, I always have trouble landing on the center line. Yeah, it just takes practice. And again, that's why I love traffic pattern flying. Just do them over and over and over and over. Left base, you should have turned left to get to downwind. Don't know what you're suggesting there, USC. Should have turned left to get to downwind. Oh, I think I know what you're meaning. You're referring to my teardrop. No, it's actually better to make that teardrop entry. At least that's FAA regulated or recommended to do. Because if you are flying over the field and you would immediately join the left downwind, then there might be another traffic that's Nordo that's not transmitting on the CTEF that might already be on that left downwind, and then you descend on top of him or her, or that airplane might fly into your tail. And that's why it's better to just continue flying beyond the traffic pattern area, make that teardrop turn, and then enter the traffic pattern all over again. So that's actually the safest thing to do. Exactly, Stefan. So, I don't know why that happens. If I turn off the flight recorder, my Cessna makes a very nice spin. Well, this is actually also a nice ending shot, I guess. Guys, thank you so much for joining in on the stream today. So many of you, very many new followers and subscriptions. Let me see. Taco for 2 months. Very much appreciated. Plague also subscribed. Oh, there were more. Also, Aitke gave some bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated. And a lot of followers. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. It's really, really encouraging. And again, I enjoyed myself flying today, as it should be. Just flying on visuals is so important, and getting to also become more knowledgeable and familiarized with the sectional, and to understand what significant landmarks are and referring to your outside view and that stuff is really, really fun. And also we are flying with photo wheel scenery, so it's so cool to have, well, be much more connected with that scenery because it's so pretty. So yeah, that was a really great flight. Also was good on the clock, by the way, also by the help of those sound commands and sniper as well. Exactly, snipe, that's exactly what I'm saying. Neil, how do you replay? That's Control P, at least in X-Plane. No, it's I don't know what the key command keybind is. I think I reset those keybinds. It's just built into X-Plane. Just have a look at your keybinds and you can do it. Taco, I'll email you later this week. I'm looking forward to that email, Taco. Let's get some flight instruction or uncertified flight instruction going for you. Thank you, Kretchtender. All right. Really enjoyed myself today. Next up is, again, IFR training, serious IFR training. I'm going to complete my King Schools video training, which I'm almost completed. Just a few episodes or so, and I think I got the idea. And I will do another flight, I guess. I think a VFR flight in marginal VMC stuff. Perhaps I'm even going to preset my weather so that we're really limited visibility, so we're actually not legal to fly as VFR pilots. And then fly from San Diego International Airport to LAX, which is going to be interesting. So a Bravo airport to the next. to see how LAX would coordinate our arrival there, because I'm not really sure about the procedures, the correct procedures to follow. So it's going to be a really nice flight with a lot of ATC chat while we are flying on the GPS. So that's going to be a little bit more easy on my side than flying on hand as I do most of the time. So that's up next. Be sure to follow me on Twitter or on Discord, because that's the place where I announce my flights and you can schedule and make sure you can jump aboard. That's much appreciated. You guys have so much knowledge, so much experience with flying, sometimes real world flying as well, and I'm really learning from you guys, so that's much appreciated. Thanks for the follow, Eccentric. Thank you. All right, so guys, thank you so much again for joining on stream. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your cheers, and hoping to see you very soon with my next stream. So as always, happy flights, blue skies. Guys, happy Sunday. Palm Springs Tower, Skyline, Pop Hotel Tango, India Mike is 10 miles north of the airport at 3000 with information X-ray, 140 full stop, landing 13 left if that's available.
Pop Hotel Tango, India Mike, Palm Springs Tower, squawk 6250.
6250.
Pop Hotel Tango, India Mike, Palm Springs altimeter is 2985, radar contact about 10 miles west of the Palm Springs VOR. Presently landing runway 31, so you're requesting straight in for 13.
That's available, yes please.
Correction, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike, make straight in runway 13 left, and clear to land. Wind is 0905.
Clear to land, runway 3 left, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike, thanks.
Palm Springs clearance plus 4658 is type PC 12 land conf, request clearance to Vegas S file.
That was 4658, Palm Springs clearance. Good afternoon. Unable to give you that file. I'll be forward standby. Pilotage 4658 is cleared to the Las Vegas Airport. VFI Cathedral 1 departure procedure to Palm Springs. Victor 370 to 29 Palms. Victor 538. Cresso. Join the Cresso 3 arrival. Maintain 7,000. Expect flight level 2, 405 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.7, squawk 6316.
Palace 4658 is cleared to Vegas via Cathedral 1, Palm Springs, Victor 37029, Palms, Victor 538, Cresso 3, and initially climb 7,000, expected for 0 after 5, departure 126 squawk 6316 plus or 65.
Pause 4658, reback is correct. Tango India Mike, taxi to the ramp via Echo remaining frequency.
Taxiing to the ramp via Echo, remaining on this frequency, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike.
Ontario Tower, Cessna 237 Charlie Alpha, approximately 4 miles to the west, inbound to land.
Number 237 Charlie Alpha, roger, inner left traffic. Left downwind runway 26 left, report base.
Enter left downwind for 26 left and record your base 237 Charlie Alpha.
Charlie Tower, United 242 on the visual for 20 right, will be turning for a right base short.
United 242 Jolly Tower, runway 20 right, clear to land, wind 170, headwind 3.
Clear to land, 20 right, United 242.
Palomar Tower, United 228 Kilo, ILS runway 24.
Near 520 Yankee Kilo, Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear to land, wind 210 at 11. Number 237 Charlie Alpha, runway 26 left, clear to land.
6 left, clear to land, 7 Charlie Alpha, thank you.
Palm Springs ground plus 4658, east ramp to weather, going for taxi.
Pause 4658, Palm Springs ground, runway 31 right, taxi via Echo and Bravo.
Trail right via Echo Brown 465.
Riverside Tower, good morning. Governor Martina Kinoki Alpha with you on the island.
Number 2903 Alpha, Riverside Tower, good afternoon. Runway 9 cleared low approach, report to miss.
Governor Martina Kinoki Alpha, clear low approach, runway 9. Next report is missed.
Palm Springs Tower plus 4658 ready to go to and right at Brown.
Pause 4658, Palm Springs Tower, runway 31 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff to and right plus 465.
Palomar Tower, Near 520.